So in conclusion, that's why Let Down is the best song. Oh, we started. Whoops.
Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Animediate. In this one, we're going to do a show that I have in some parts rated a 5 out of 10. Sword Art Online. So let's quickly go through the synopsis here. But as I understand it, that Jono, you've seen this before.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us a quick rundown of your preconceptions of this film?
Well, it's
TV show.
Well, you know.
It's. I don't know. It's not good, really.
I mean, it's.
Or is it more like happens in it?
We're quite lukewarm about it, and it's popularity number 3 on Animediate, which puts it above pretty much everything.
I think that's part of the reason why I've moved on from lukewarm to dislike.
Yeah.
Just because it overtakes so many good things with this just absolutely mediocre.
It's Forrest Gump, but for anime. Basically, that's what you're saying.
No, Forrest Gump is like, I
It's
assume
got
to be
some
good
charm
though.
to it. at
Yeah.
least.
Oh,
I
it's
assume
not
to be
charming.
good on some level. This
I mean,
is
anime
like,
is charming.
This
I mean,
is the most
look at those
typical
character
anime you could
designs, Harry.
probably
Surely
get.
there's definitely a more overrated film that we think is terrible than Forrest Gump.
I mean, of all the top 20, that's probably the most overrated one.
well,
Well, you don't think Empire Strikes Back is more overrated?
Oh yeah, I think it's a piece of shit. It's
Okay.
garbage like the band.
So let's explain the premise a bit. It's a bit Spy Kids like, you know. It's the classic.
I can't believe that this predicts that in 3 to 4 years we will have the Vive and other VR technology.
No, you will
Where's
have
the guy?
nerve gear technology,
Where's Elijah?
Jono, which lets players control their avatar within the game using nothing but their own thoughts.
In the Oasis.
If this sounds like a Black Mirror episode, then I don't know, but it might do. So, if you've been watching us so far, we've had, you know, quite a range of shows where there's like an overpowered main guy, and he goes to this strange fantasy world, and he gets a crew of multiple hair-coloured women that follow him around, and this one has this other guy as well that's also on the poster.
Sounds completely different to the previous 3 or 4 that we've watched.
Yeah, and I think that I'm tired of it. I honestly think that this is overdone at this point. We've taken the piss out of our asterisk scores and are in another world with our smartphones, and it's been done to death. Because if you will look at just the simple YouTube result for SAO bad, and it's a massive industry that's been built around taking the piss out of Sword Art Online.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this, a fat 2.2 million views from Mother's Basement. How SAO became the worst anime ever. Anime I fucking hate. Sword Art Online Part 1, the Aincrad arc, or 300,000. This one's good. Sword Art Online, an analytical diatribe. This is literally someone playing Terra Online for like an hour, and they just talk about why Sword Art Online is bad, why it's a terrible game. That's easily 3 million views there. And so not only is it popular to like, it's also popular to hate on. So you can't have any opinions on this show and seem smart, which is why. Oh wait, let's see some more. SEO the
there's a
movie.
sneaky little thing in there.
Ordinal scale makes no sense. Why are shotguns so bad in PUBG? I guess that also has something to do with Sword Art Online.
Yeah, because it's so bad.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you're a search engine optimizer. Everything wrong with Sword Art Online. Our Cinema Sins is getting in on this boat too. There's a 50 episode long playlist. And now there's the counter culture of actually Mother's Basement double dipping and getting the views, but SAO also being good. because what it does right,
The art of massive.
and then he
appeal.
just talks about One Punch Man, how to recognize a terrible anime in just one episode.
There's another like kind of review of SAO I see around a lot, which is saying how a certain abridged series is actually so much better than the show that it mocks.
That is actually quite a good segue.
In fact, one of the things you skipped over in this queue in the SAO bad thing was SAO abridged parody episode 1.
Because in this, overdone show that I will form no opinions about because they've all been done before. People have taken from the ashes of this show. They've used those ashes and some water and created some clay bricks, which they've built a strong house out of. The people at Something Witty Entertainment have totally reforged the show in this new comedy abridged style series, which we're gonna watch.
You see that second video there?
Yeah.
Could you tell us with your degree why it's got such bad game design?
I mean, the part where they enslave people in the game and mean that they die if they die in real life. That's the whole plot, right?
Again, you can see in the description for that video, once again, I'm dumping on Sword Art Online.
I mean, to be fair, he's got a new angle,
Sorry, you said this was quite similar to Spy Kids. At what point do they order in the loony?
We're the loons. We're coming in. This is God fearing his creation and staying up in heaven, and that is from Spy Kids 2. We're gonna.
Hey, I thought God was in another world with my smartphone, wasn't it?
Well, he's omnipresent, Ethan. He can be in multiple animes at once.
At least this is one better than that show, because I do think that's the worst one we've done so far.
It's a misdirect, Ethan. This isn't actually a 5 out of 10. This is actually good. I'm explaining the joke now, but yeah, we're gonna watch Sword Art Online Abridged episode 1. See ya. Hello. So that was episode 1 of the Abridged series. What do you guys think?
We're actually reviewing each episode of this YouTube.
Well, I mean, it's
Each
better
episode
than...
is an episode of the show.
Oh, okay. Right. I'll go. I think I like that we're doing this. So we don't have to watch this trash show. Tony's like, let's just watch someone take the mic. Because I feel like I've got the essence of what the show is without having to watch it, and it's quite entertaining. I like the concept. I'm not going to give it a score at the end because I don't rate every individual YouTube video.
Well, I don't know.
Because
it's basically just a video, though, like any film or TV show episode is.
Yeah.
And they are really well
produced. You've got to draw a line
produced.
somewhere, otherwise, every individual P you're having, you'll be rating. I mean, YouTube. I'm not gonna.
This does have more of a feeling, though, of a comedy series rather than.
Yeah, but there are good web series that I just wouldn't rate. I don't rate TV, so I'm weird. Don't ignore me.
I'm not going to give a score to the episode, but I might rate it at the end, and I think it is. I think it's a lot better than the original, and I know Ethan and Harry don't have this reference point, but the way that they completely change the characters, because they're massively different, and I think the abridged versions are not only funnier, they're also way more interesting.
I mean, we'll get into it later, but these characters actually have arcs in this abridged series, which they don't have in the actual show.
Yeah, I think this first episode is, first of all, it takes the 24-minute first episode, cuts it down to 8 minutes long, which is the perfect length, cuts all the chaff, and I think Kirito is the main character, say the abridged version. He's a lot more interesting than his sort of basically just remember the overpowered main characters we had from our other shows, and that was just Kirito again. He was slightly I don't know, more of an edgy teen in the original, but in this he's a massive sarcastic asshole, and is also kind of a baby at times, and it's very funny to watch.
One of the things that the abridged does right that the original does wrong is actually having some gaming culture and references in there.
Yeah, it's very good. I think the second episode also really picks that up. So Ethan, what are your impressions so far?
8 minutes in, I haven't really formulated that much opinion on that.
Alright,
I mean, yeah,
we'll let it
seems...
saturate a bit more.
Alright.
But
Are they all 8 minutes long?
no, some of them are actually quite long. But
Well, how long are we talking? How long do I have to sit here and watch
most
this?
of them don't get longer than like the actual episode that it was based on.
Alright.
And sometimes it like takes multiple episodes and episodes and like condenses them. So we're gonna watch up until episode 11, and that's covers up until like episode 14 in the show, and it's like shorter overall. So this episode just introduces the sort of concept of the show and also the characters. I think it's pretty good. Any last thoughts before we go into episode 2?
Can we do this for all the bad anime? Although I guess
We've
out.
technically stopped bad anime now. What remains to be seen.
Well, we've got some stuff to cover.
Well,
Let's
let's
leave that as 5 out of 10.
teaser for later.
After this, we actually... Well, we won't be halfway because you've picked 2 for the other ones, but we will be halfway in terms of ratings.
Some films, if I consider that a film, but I don't.
So that was it.
Were we not recording then?
We were sorry, we didn't miss it.
That was really good banter.
It's the whole genre debate again. Words are meaningless. You can attach whatever meaning you want to them.
So when we get to
that argument literally gets us nowhere.
So
Episode
Yeah, but
2.
having the same argument because I think things are different to you. Like, I think that this is a YouTube video. That's not an argument worth having because we just attach different meaning to it.
Alright,
not-
so why are you making the argument?
When I say that I'm not going to rate it because it's a YouTube video, you're like,
the concept of the show is rating it.
It's not a YouTube
As
video.
if you agree with my rating.
I'll give it a 1.
We're watching this on Kiss Anime, Harry.
Which you are right, infects Ethan's computer.
No, I've already got those subtitles that I've downloaded infecting my computer.
What did you think of episode 2, guys? Episode 2 where they beat the first boss.
I'll give the show this, right? I can't think of anything in recent memory that has better, crowd, like, background sort of...
Yeah, the heckling is really good.
Yeah.
And
Just open your menu.
you get what
I'll
I'm
tell you
saying,
what was
though.
actually quite good. The dialogue in the when she says I want a jacket and he's like, oh, I can't. It's just binary. It's just ones and zeros. I'm like, give me the ones.
Fuck you, I want the ones. Yeah.
I want the ones.
I think we talked over a great bit where there's just a background guy where they're like, and somehow there was that cat that learned to play the game, and it cuts to a cat on screen.
Yeah.
They have put in a lot of work to that is really subtle to make this better, and they also take the piss out of the things that we that are also in the show. Like there's that one where they say, I'm dissolving this party.
Yeah, because of the spelling mistake on the menu that means it's dissolve instead of dissolve.
It's pretty dense. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
jokes per minute's quite good.
Yeah.
Yes.
As you expect from good YouTube.
Yeah. As I would like from any good comedy thing.
Yeah, I think it helps when you're allowed to make it however long you want.
Yeah,
I think I know you're going to get annoyed at me, but I think Netflix does this as well. Because the episodes can be any length.
That is
you don't have
good,
to
yeah.
pad. Whereas with YouTube, you can literally, like, ProCD went from making 7-second videos to however long he wants, and they got funnier because of it. This is like, if they want to make a 5-minute, 8-minute, 13-minute as this third episode is going to be, they can. So they can kind of...
So it's a great strength of the platform.
You know what else has a really good joke to minute ratio? The Graduate.
Cinema Sins as well. My favourite film. Cinema Sins, everything wrong with Batman v Superman.
I will do a YouTube video for Lying TV. I will do a Knack
if
2
you
by
think of
Dunk.
Carnage, you can pick whatever you want. I don't even...
Carnage is a film though. So it's a short film.
I mean, you can...
It's a BBC iPlayer.
we have no rules for that MDB, so...
Yeah,
maybe
alright.
it is a film.
Alright, so
It's a documentary, but you know.
Are you gonna pick Batman Ninja at some point?
no. We're gonna
It's
do
got
episode
seasons.
3 then?
Yeah.
It's got a villain.
I want to do Sow Bridge
Alright,
parody.
let's go.
Rubio.
Marco Rubio.
Hello. That was episode 3 that we just finished, the Christmas special. What do you guys think of the episode where they condense Kirito's sad backstory into like one show? I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, that's like its own little island away from the rest
Yeah.
of the show, isn't it?
And
Completely different. To
the thing is, it's like I want to say like 2 or 3 episodes in like the original. And they're just like, yeah, we could do it in 13 minutes. Yeah, cut the chaff.
If I'm... Because, like, I didn't know... Because it kind of... It's so different from the main show. I find it hard to kind of follow what's... just go with it. It's comedy. You don't have to take it seriously. You know?
I mean, I think even though it sets up like all of Kirito's sort of character arc with Sachi pretty quickly, and it does literally like hand wave at one moment. It says like, yeah, this is a hand wave. What are you going to do about it? And but I still think it's pretty good. Like, especially since it feels so like, I don't know, half done in like the original. Like this one is like, you can actually tell like he's like, oh man, he's quite mad at the scenario. And like there are a lot of things that this is where like they really like have started putting loads of like little touches in. Like the whole thing with, you know, Sachi being from Australia and having lag, like, that's an effect they do over the character.
Yeah, that's not from the original thing.
That's quite cool.
Those 3 people being NPCs is not in the real thing.
There's a lot of good jokes. I think that the live action elements that they tried to bring in didn't work as well.
I think that's just
was
for the
my
Christmas
feeling.
special
That was,
though. I think it's just for this Christmas special.
It's just for this, but in my feeling, that's the weakest thing in like the whole Abridged series.
Yeah. But like all transformative content, I feel like I'm not going to be able to judge Sword Art Online. It is. That's the word they use to get away with it in court, isn't it? It's transformative by nature.
It's just because it's a YouTube video.
I'm not saying. What I'm saying is
racist to YouTube video.
this as a parody of Sword Art Online works well, and I'm sure it's a lot better than Sword
I
Art
mean,
Online.
Harry hates YouTube videos, so what you don't want is a YouTube video about the Iraq War, because then it'd be the worst thing you'd ever
So
seen.
the episode, what do you think? What do you think of him going off and using his detective mode, his eagle vision?
Vulturade.
Huh?
Vulturade.
What?
Don't worry.
Anyway, any thoughts for this episode?
I really enjoyed the charisma hat.
Yeah, the charisma hat is so funny. It's the perfect like plot device to explain why Kirito joins up with this group when, you know, first episode or second episode he was like, no, I'm never going to do that. I think it's really smart, especially since again that's another thing they added in. Just
It's quite strange because it's the first anime you've made us watch on this channel where I mean I wouldn't mind keep watching it. Do you know what I mean?
It's like it's like when Kirito like was experiencing the heart pain. You're like, I've never felt this emotion before. It's new.
I mean, if the next episode, look, it says it right there. If the next episode was to come on, I would just be like, yeah, I'd gladly welcome it.
I think this Max Story episode is really well done. I think I also like that it's Christmas themed. You know, if it's when we're recording it, like near holidays. Any things before we?
You know, it would be a miracle.
Yeah.
Like if someone was able to do this, but in another world with my smartphone. So that's genuinely the worst thing I've seen.
You'd have to be very talented.
Yeah, you'd have to be.
I think they do a really good job at saving SEO though. And I think it stands on its own well, and let's see how it keeps it up in the next episode. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah.
Hello, that was episode 4, which is introducing part 2 of Kirito's assortment of followers. Although they probably toned that down in the show quite a bit in the abridged version. It's not so much about him collecting all the different people. In this is introducing the beast tamer girl who has the dragon, which, you know, in this version of the show, Kirito tries to help save, but doesn't, but fails horribly, and also kills some PvP along the way. Too many P's in that. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this episode?
Well, you know why I like that character, the female character in this one, who was
Which
challenging him, red hair, can't remember her name.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a character in an earlier episode. I can't remember what her name is. The reason I like them, right, is that because they're female characters in anime, but when they speak, it's not annoying.
Yeah, I do think this episode that sets up the, you know, sort of matriarch villain of Rosalia, I think it's really good. I think it really does a good job of like poking fun at, you know, the sort of overpowered sort of thing. But then, because it's a parody of Sword Art Online, it still has to work with that in some way. And I really like this scene, like much better than in the original version where he just sort of stands there and he's like, "Oh, I'm invincible." But in this one, it's a lot funnier. It's a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, what are your thoughts, John?
Yeah, it's a really good episode that massively improves on the original.
Yeah, it does.
Are you okay? You look a bit dead inside.
Yeah,
He was just sat there looking pensively into the middle distance.
Harry, is this show not grabbing you? Is this YouTube series not grabbing you? like, all right, fair enough. Let's just put the meme to
It
bed.
was so funny. When we were watching that Carlos Santana thing, I was like, was this not a movie?
As a YouTube series, what are your thoughts, Harry?
I think Ethan made a good point where he said about the annoying character. I mean, this is a parody, and
Yeah.
the character I'm imagining, the little girl, was annoying in the anime,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think she's still annoying in this. I don't know if they're doing the annoying Far Cry Blood Dragon thing of tutorials suck. Like, oh, you hate tutorials, don't you? But you're still doing it. As a parody, it's still partaking in the annoying thing. And like,
Yeah,
even if
I
it's
don't
going
know.
like, oh, anime's stupid with these deacon shot of this clearly 5-year-old girl, it's still doing it.
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes it's doing a lot to work away from it. I feel.
Yeah, I almost feel like it's parody. Obviously, it says Abridged parody in the title. I don't know why my thing that it is parody is controversial.
You know what?
Yeah,
film,
yeah,
you know what film has spirit? Spirited Away.
Ethan,
This-
we don't need to start arguments. We need to be on topic of this show.
Yeah, I just don't. I think this is okay. I don't think it's like. I think it's funny. I don't think it's as funny as laughing at a bad show is.
No, I think Sword Art Online though is like we were reaching the point with in Another World with my smartphone where they were just quite competent enough to be like kind of boring to watch, but also not good.
I like they work okay, but I feel like you get a lot more out of a parody of a show if you've seen the show.
Yeah, but I mean,
It's
it's
like
enjoying
I
it.
would,
Yeah, but we've seen plenty of awful anime. That
Yeah,
this is
you-
taking
you
the piss
literally
out
just
of.
need
so
to
we,
know that-
we're in on the joke.
That what you think those characters probably were before they were parodied, like that's what they were.
It's not like you're watching American Psycho and you've never met someone who's like upper class business sort of person. Everyone knows these types of things.
yeah, I just don't think that
Like-
this is for me. I think it's okay.
Uh,
I think it's probably better than Sword Art Online would be.
Yeah, I think that's.
Oh, it's far and away the best thing we've watched on this on this show so far.
Well, that's
on this
good.
podcast
That's,
so far.
That's what I'm going for.
On this YouTube series.
Say.
No. Oh no, on this BBC iPlayer
I'm
documentary.
trying to bury the hatchet here so we can talk about the show, and
Yeah.
it's become too powerful for me to control.
But it's so different to anything we've done before
Yeah,
because it's half the length, and it's instead of being like the piece of art, it's a piece critiquing the art.
I think it also does do a good job of layering in its own story that it tells using the inspiration of Sword Art Online.
Yeah, but it is everything about it. Pretty much 98% of footage is from Sword Art Online
Yeah,
still.
I would say, but because the dialogue is completely different, like the characters are like nothing like the
Yeah.
original, and they are wholly original in the sense of
What
like.
do you want
Okay,
me to critique the way they've transformed?
I would say just
I almost
watch
don't
it
know
at
what they
face
have
value.
transformed. That's
Or just
hard
watch
to-
it at face value then. See, like, is this scene, funny? Is it like, is the sort of villain and that whole like plot thing where they're like, oh, you used the person to lure me out, and they try to like catch each other. Do you think that's interesting? Think it's good?
I don't think it's interesting because it's comedy, and I think it's just slightly funny.
But don't you think it's great how instead of making this show that takes the mick out of anime that's like completely new, they've taken something. I mean, this is like the ultimate sort of parody because it's taken everything from the original show that it's taken the mick out of, and then poking fun of it rather than starting from
Yeah,
scratch.
I
if that
like
makes
it.
sense.
I like that idea. It's just I feel like you get a lot more out of it if you've seen the original show. Like with all parody, it works best if you're familiar with the work that they're parodying.
It does help when you watch it and you think, God, this is so much better than baseline. But I think we've built up that baseline.
Yeah.
And I mean, also, it's not just the original show that they're poking fun at. It's just the entire it's anime culture.
Yeah,
don't
but
you think? So
Yeah.
If you've seen any of it, if you've seen any bad anime show, it's basically anything that isn't Ghibli. Then, I'm just taking the piss.
prove you wrong.
Yeah, I know you will. Anything that's bad, that then you know what you're getting here.
But in mocking it, still partaking in doing the bad things, which is slightly annoying. I found the first episodes funnier when it was more jokes and less plot. This one felt like there was more plot and less jokes.
I think the plot is strong though. Like even as a YouTube series, like I think it has a pretty strong plot, which is and it uses the fact that it's comedy to like get you invested in like Kirito because I think it works really well how like
He's a good actor, the guy who's doing the voice.
Mm.
And I feel like because obviously they can't do much with the visuals, it all has to be through the voice acting.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
And I think I prefer it when there were more characters because there was more chance to kind of
So
have off-screen dialogue, which is probably the strength of anything Abridged.
Wait until Asuna returns, because the best thing about this show is the back and forth between Kirito and Asuna.
Yeah, I think that's a very strong. So should we get to watching the next episode 4
It's still
then?
the best episode of Animediate we've done. Because it's something that I can actually tolerate.
It's a pretty low bar though, to be fair.
Yeah. Also, why are we watching episode 4 again?
So, alright, so that was episode 6. It's the first part of the murder mystery episode. Ethan, do you want to try and recap this one? Because that's a thing we do. Do you remember?
Yeah, I suppose we can. So, I guess the main thing going on in this episode is the fact that there's someone who has been very publicly killed in what's known as a safe zone, so apparently no one can die there. And they spend the episode trying to figure out this mystery with, what's he called? Not Kyoto, what's he called?
Well, Kirito is the main guy.
That's right, him.
Asuna.
Certain that there's some sort of like, I guess trickery or
some sort of
practical
mystery.
Yeah, exactly.
And Asuna can convince that it is in fact a murder, and it could go either way at this point. What do you think of this mystery? Do you think it's strong?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm quite interested to hear behind it. I'll tell you what I did notice in this one, that it's the first time I've really picked up on this, but I think sometimes it's not like a massive issue, but when a character's like screaming something or shouting something, and their lips moving, it doesn't look like the way their lips moving particularly match the tone of voice that they have. Yeah, and that happens often with what's she called again? Sorry,
Asuna?
that's right. Yeah, she's often screaming. You look over and her lips are just moving kind of a bit.
Yeah, there's going to be limitations.
It's like a fist
Yeah, I
of
know.
dogs.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Are we halfway now? Yeah.
We're more than halfway. Yeah, we're just going up to episode 11, but we'll take a quick recording break as of now to play Call of Duty. What did you think of Tiffany?
Oh, I forgot that section. It's so good.
Tiffany, the no pun intended blacksmith.
It's the part where she says, "What have you got? Cotton in your ears?" or something. So good.
The extended back and forth of us and accidentally being racist and then culminating in just a very matter-of-factly racist comment. It's very, very good idea. Very interesting character trait to throw out of nowhere. Yeah.
I mean, it seems a bit weird just to say that. Yeah, it gives her character a third dimension.
To be fair, that's more than a lot of anime sidekicks get. You know, racist, perfectly good character trait.
Yeah, this is the first episode where you get some of the proper like back and forth between Kirito and Asuna.
Yeah, their relationship starts when it's actually quite complicated. Kirito was power leveling alchemy, which is a funny concept. So he was stoned. He had that weed hit the spot. He was chonged.
There's got strange moments towards the beginning where I thought it was going to go in that direction, and it didn't, which was good.
Yeah, there's a bit of a gag about that. About like, oh, is he going to do something malicious? And he just draws like cat ears on her face. It's quite funny. Then they go to a restaurant, which is very funny. And then of course the mystery kicks off from there. Of the murder being.
So explain to me really quickly, because I don't think I was properly paying that much attention in the beginning, in the first episode where they pretty much tell you what the show's about.
Yeah.
The large hooded figure who came along and told them. What did he say exactly?
He just said,
they're trapped there indefinitely.
You have to beat the game, which is to go through every floor and beat every boss, all 100. And if you die in the game, you die in real life.
Okay, alright. There's floors. I mean, there's got to be pretty large floors. Yeah, there's like fields and
they like every like location. They'll be like, floor 47 or whatever, you know. And it's like it's a pretty neat way of like tracking time, you know.
Yeah, I think so.
Tracking like how time has progressed and then being stuck in this VR game, this Nerve Gear game. How do you think that the plot's picking up? And it's relying less on comedy. Any comments, Jono?
Yeah, so this is where it comes more into its own as it's serious. This is the longest episode we've had so far, being around like 16 minutes, and it's the first part of a two-parter. But yeah, I feel this is where it like properly comes into its own. This is where it, for me, feels like it could be a show in its own right.
Yeah. Apart from the fact that that'd be illegally like a hellhole to navigate. I think this is honestly like such a strong part. Like in my mind, I'm not really sure what the differences were to the original because I'm just like, I don't even care at that point. Just good.
Yeah.
I think the way that the detective sort of thing is played back and forth, of they have their different ideas and they're just like at each other to be right more than just to solve the case is so funny.
I think I'm enjoying it more than Ready Player One.
High praise.
I mean, all Ready Player One had was the bike from Akira.
I mean, to be
And
fair,
I guess they had the DeLorean as well.
it is a cool bike though.
Oh, it's a great bike. Yeah, no, it's that's the great thing about Akira. No, it's not. It's one of the great things about Akira. It's one of the great things about. No, that's not even true. It's one of the better things in Ready Player One, rather than great things. Ready Player One. This doesn't have Nolan in it.
Nolan Sorrento.
Nolan Sorrento.
I mean the cloaked figure guy. I think he could be your Nolan Sorrento figure.
Yeah,
He could be your whatever the wizard was called.
I bet that guy's probably seen The Breakfast Club as well.
Harry, and
He's seen Scanners.
Your feelings, or-
Scanners.
I like Ready Player One more than this.
Oof. And you don't even like Ready Player One now.
Yeah, it's alright.
You keep 180
But
on
it's
this
just
opinion.
fun.
Harry.
No, I think it's fine. I don't think it's. I think it's nothing above fine.
Don't tell Harry that he's my sister.
Don't.
Just go no.
Don't. I'm not letting this meme start up again.
I mean, once
We
you
banned
leave
memes on this podcast.
Once you leave the cinema where we're watching this, I'm sure.
Oh, that was so funny.
So yeah, are you excited to see the rest of the show,
7
guys? You excited?
I am, but I've already seen it.
Yeah, I'll keep watching.
Alright, guys. Alright, we'll see you next time. What did you all think of that episode?
Sure, what else is quite funny too? That episode.
In the real episode, is it the same story? So he kills her because of the sandwich.
No.
Yeah, well,
I don't think it is it?
Okay, so who wants to quickly explain how the mystery gets solved? Who remembers it the best?
Probably me.
Yeah,
Because I've
John,
seen it a few times.
go ahead. What is the thrilling conclusion to the mystery?
They only look like they were dying because of a glitch that when you teleport when you're suspended, and the people that died were trying to trick Schmidt into admitting that he killed someone that he didn't kill, and it was someone else. I can't remember the original reason.
The original reason is like really dumb. They just have like an item that lets them change their animation. I'm like, alright, that's kind of boring. But this one is like a dumb video game glitch. It's like, yes, that's very funny. What do you think? Because I think this is a pretty good conclusion to the mystery sort of two-parter that you got going on. I think it fleshes out a lot of the characters pretty interestingly. Kirito once again, always right, as is good in the world. Ethan, what are your thoughts?
Nothing new. It's as funny as ever, which is quite funny.
Yeah.
I guess it's a nice little episode because it's all set in one specific location, and you just get the mystery kind of unraveling, and you find out what's been happening over the course of the previous 2 episodes. It starts off with a funny beginning as well with those 3 men, those 3 hooded men.
Yeah, the 3 Laughing Coffin guild members. You get the callback to the episode 2 where it's the guy who saw Jesus.
Yes.
And he's gone on to form this guild of Laughing
Well,
Coffins.
what happens here to do with Laughing Coffin comes back later. It's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that all
But
of
we
this
don't know that
happens, because of the fact that all of this happens in the same location as well, I'm tempted to say that it's better than 12 Angry Men.
It's no 12 Angry Films.
I'd like to see a 12 Angry Men parody where it's the same shots but it's been dubbed.
We should do that.
What would it be about? Anyway, I like this a lot because first of all I've taken a break, so that's always good. I'd have to watch like so much in a row. And second of all, this is all set in one place. And because the episode, I haven't seen the episode, but I imagine it's dialogue heavy, and the whole point of this parody is like changing the dialogue. It really worked. I enjoyed it. They kind of weren't set on what beats they had to hit in the episode. They could kind of completely do their own thing because it's all dialogue.
They do a lot of really smart stuff with it. Like the whole like Kirito talking, and then Asuna comes in and says one thing, and then the guy like collapses. They turn that into the "your hat looks stupid" joke, which is so smart to do with like when you look at the visuals and think like, how did they work with this? It's very good, very funny. Yeah. So are you excited to see where it goes in the future? All right, let's get back to it. Ethan was shaking his head vigorously then, but that doesn't convert into audio waveforms. See you soon. Yeah. All right, that was episode 7, the one where Kirito gets his other sword. We'll see what he uses that for.
You know the names of both of his swords.
That's been a recurring thing. They have different names now. He's got the Elucidator and the dragon poop. No, the piece of shit. Dragon shit that is. ... semicolon. All of Lisbeth's contact info. And Lisbeth, it's a new character that gets introduced. The blacksmith of the group of friends who has a tragic backstory. All the friends die, as is the trend, and got shuttered away in this blacksmithing home where Kirito comes along, wants a new sword, asks for one of her swords, and it breaks because it's shitty, and they go and make a new one. That's the episode. What do you think of it, guys?
Just that her character is so much more memorable in this.
I know.
I basically her and the other female one that tags along for a bit. Like I confused them from the original thing, but in this they're different.
I know. I was definitely like looking forward to this episode and to the incredible. They do so much with when they're making the weapon. They like create like a whole like mini game effect out of it, to the point where there is a reference. I say reference. It shows a boss fight from another anime, which we're gonna do, and I'm like, that's the end of the show. They did it, had it in it to make a sword, but it's so funny. I don't even mind. She's playing Space Invaders and Rockstar. Not Rockstar, what's it called?
Guitar Hero.
Guitar Hero at the same time. And it's incredible. It's so funny.
See, that's another example of this parody having more themes of games in them.
Yeah.
Because I think the actual show just like she hits it with the hammer and then turns into a sword.
Yeah, it's like shittier than like the Skyrim crafting menu. It's like, glow. But in this, it's so funny. And like, Ethan and Harry haven't seen the original. They don't have that comparison. But it was still like such a great moment, and shows the massive strength of this abridged series, and I think it's production values, editing. What do you guys think?
Yeah, it was really good. It's probably my favourite episode so far.
I know.
I like that joke a lot. I kind of got that wasn't going to be that was in the original show because it's actually they mention games, so it's got to be different. Yeah, I liked it. I liked the new character. It gave a kind of bit of change of pace, from the when it's just the two of them going around doing their thing. I like the last two actually because they've been a bit different, but that might just be because I've had a break. But yeah, it was very good.
There's a lot of subtle stuff with the characterization from Asuna being a psychopathic, jealous girlfriend, and Kirito and Lisbeth sharing the whole my friend's a dead thing, and then they have the I think it makes it a lot better in this show because there's a great quote that just it sets up pretty early on in the show that like Asuna is like the main girl, which actually isn't that common, but it still introduces a lot of like add-on girls in the original, so it feels like a big like spurned women's club, that sort of follow them around. But in this, it has a lot of people, and it all feels like they have a reason to be there. And distinct, dreadfully distinct. I forgot the rest of how the Voight-Kampff test from Blade Runner goes. Yeah, Harry, Ethan, got any comments?
No, not really. Same as what you guys have said.
You saving that comment for when the opening theme comes
Well, I've got
next?
3 in my head.
Good, you got to
Jonathan's
catch
not
up.
going to like one of them.
Alright, we're nearing towards the end, guys. Are you sad to see it go?
Actually, I really find this quite funny. Actually,
You can continue beyond the show, Ethan, because we're only doing up to episode 11. So
Yeah, I'll watch the last 2 for sure when they come out.
We'll put it to a majority.
Wait,
vote
how
if
many
we want to
more are
continue.
there?
There's like 2 more.
Oh, there are 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll put it to a vote if we want to continue or if we want to leave it where it is.
But
Because it's a good
makes
point to
sense
stop.
to stop it at 11 because kind of it's like
It's like the mid-season break.
yeah, which with
Sort of
SAO
like
you
has such
can stop
long
at that mid-season
seasons.
break.
Okay.
You should stop at that.
Yeah,
It peaks at being mildly tolerable and then fucking plummets from then.
So what would you rate the abridged version out of 10 then? Because
We'll see at the end of the show.
Yeah.
There's a hint. We'll get about to watch episode 8.
Should have done it for Animediate 8.
Hello, welcome to episode 8. What do you guys think of what happened in that episode? What happened? Recap it, Ethan.
how did it start again?
It started with the rabbit.
Oh yeah, that's right. So it starts with a evening meal between. Oh, I'm so bad with Japanese names. Asuma and
Asuna and Kirito, the main
Karuto.
characters,
Karuto, yes.
Okay.
I know.
Close enough.
Again. Hey, pronounce Lady Eboshi for me.
Ebushi.
Fucking hell.
But you've got me worried about it now.
My favourite film.
Yeah, well, they ate some really nice Polish food as well, rabbit stew.
Not
My
just
favourite.
really nice, but an S-class ingredient made by someone who had maxed out their skill, making it the best possible thing you could eat.
I remember them eating afterwards. They had a bit of a, interesting sounds were coming out of their mouths after they'd just eaten it, and they were like, "That was very tasty."
Yeah.
And then afterwards, for the life of me, I can't remember how they get there, but they end up running into. Is it the guy that we saw in previous episodes? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his name though.
Balls Deep 69.
That's the
Klein,
one.
yeah.
Yeah, and they're outside the chamber of another boss on another floor, and they're about to fight him. And Kyoto.
You got that one on purpose.
What's he called?
Kurito.
Kurito.
Kirito. It's just 3 syllables, Ethan.
Yeah, so is Eboshi. And you're like, Eboshi, which is also 3 syllables.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But
Yeah, and they go and
I'm
fight
not
this
as mad
boss.
about Eboshi. As long as the right syllables are in the right place. As long as you say the name.
Yeah, I do.
Fair enough.
And Karato?
That's like half the letters are right. I'm out at this point.
Well, he has an interesting moment where he's fighting the boss because he talks about all the terrible things that humanity's done over the years,
Yeah.
but how he's able to sympathise with them, and it's like one of the, it's one of the moments so far where he's like, just not a dick. Like he's
I
like,
know. It's emotions.
yeah.
He has them.
I don't like that kind of Rick Sanchez-esque character
I
that
don't know.
Ethan writes and likes.
I don't know.
Sorry, where do I come into
the
that?
Matthew McConaughey in True Detective.
What are you on
Human
about?
consciousness.
I feel like it makes sense though.
No, I quite like
he-
that sort of.
Yeah, I
you
get
can
why
see
he
why
is-
he'd be that, especially since young, disillusioned, kind of an arsehole.
He tries
What's
to.
the problem with seeing humanity for what it is?
What's the problem with Thanos being right?
Exactly. You know
I
that
know-
guy. You know Fisk Spider-Verse. He's the most relatable character.
I mean, he's in Daredevil.
He is in Daredevil.
Yeah, he's great in Daredevil.
Anyway,
He's even worse than
this episode is interesting then because he's like, he's a massive, pessimist about humanity. But loops around. He sees people in the troubles and he helps them, and he uses
the trouble. Resolving the Irish border problem. Sorry.
and he uses his new dual wielding skill. He gets those 2 needlers and he shoots them at
In the name of the Father. Sorry. So stop making IRA comments now.
That counts.
You said the troubles, man. I'm sorry. But yeah, this is a good app. Not as good as the other ones, the last two that we've watched. I'd say it's slightly weaker. It feels like this might be a problem with the show, but the boss fight kind of comes out of nowhere related to the rest of the episode.
They do have to do like 100 of them, and they're like, oh fuck, none of these are gonna feel important because there's so many. We're gonna have to skip most of them.
We haven't mentioned the best character, the Spanish guy.
Forgot his name.
That's a great joke.
It was like
don't know.
Convag or something.
Yeah, it was something like that.
But yeah, his gimmick was he has like an item that gave a Spanish guitar trill at the end of every user. So he learnt a Spanish accent to boost morale. So very funny.
But we're willing to learn.
Yeah, that's a great line. Oh man. So you ready for episode 9? Any last comments? Good to go?
Yeah,
Right,
Rick from Rick and Morty is a bad character.
I mean that's the point though.
You stupid ass.
God, that episode is so good.
Why are your pants still on?
Hey. Who wants to recap that episode? Harry, Ethan.
No, I recapped the last one.
Alright, Harry,
badly. I don't
you
want
do
to
it.
recap this one badly.
Recap it.
What do we have? Steve Jobs over here recapping.
Don't make visual gags, Ethan. You can't see his Steve Jobs cosplay.
I really don't make me recap it because I don't remember.
Alright, this one is...
They had a duel.
Yeah, he's like offered... in the fallout from, the live stream video of him beating the last boss with, two swords, going out everywhere. The top guild in the game is like, yo, we want you, and he's like, mate, I don't join no guilds apart from that one time. And so he's like, all right, I'll do it if you can beat me in a duel, then I'll do it. And he loses. He falls flat on his face against the best player in the game, Heathcliff, who also has his own unique skill called like Divine Blade or something. It's the first thing we've seen Kirito not instantly obliterate. And then
A skill called the joke never lands. It's the war room.
Oh yeah, that's right. Very true. Doctor Strangelove reference was pretty good.
and then he meets up again with Voldemort, and gets caught up with his past, with sending Laughing Coffin on the road to selling out.
I love that what he says in the previous one just gets picked up at this later point.
It sounded like a good idea when he said it in episode, I want to say like 8 or something.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh no, actually...
Get your faces out there!
Maybe they shouldn't have taken like actual like ads, like a TV ad for a hitman. Might be a bit...
considered murder? It used to be about the murder,
Yeah, that's it's very interesting. They have the gross guy playing as like the sort of dejected fanboy kind of character wanting to get revenge on Kirito. It's very funny. You're looking at The Godfather, Ethan.
Nah, it's Goodfellas.
It's like Casino.
Yeah.
Casino.
Goodfellas.
What do you think of this episode, Ethan?
No. The last episode of this is 35 minutes long.
Wait, you serious? Is that actually that long?
You.
I wish Bandersnatch had been that long. It'd be perfect. 10 out of 10 if it was that long.
It's a film, Ethan. It's got to be an hour and a half.
No, it's not a film.
Also, it
It's
can
just
be 40 minutes long.
Longer than 40 minutes, right?
No, it's about 45 minutes long, but they make you re-watch the last 30 minutes of it.
You don't have
I saw that online Abridged. The thing we're doing. What do you think?
It's a good episode.
Harry,
It's an okay episode.
I think it's quite good. Oh man, we need to talk about the bomb dropping, the relationship between Asuna and Kirito finally getting off the ground, soaring into the atmosphere.
Like the kite at the end of Mary Poppins.
I really like fuck it's
The kite at the end of it.
Mary
yeah,
Poppins.
I do remember it because
Have you seen
I
The
remember
Return?
doing it.
Yeah,
That's
that's
have, yeah.
That's such
I hadn't seen it when we
Good
recorded.
joke,
Best
you
films
might
of the
miss.
year.
You already watched like 5 films since the podcast.
Oh,
I
man.
have watched 2 or 3 actually because of Spider-Verse. I'd already seen that.
So is this episode 3 of the Into the Spider-Verse podcast? Should we just talk about it right now? It's quite good, to be fair.
Yeah, it's better than this.
I mean,
Definitely.
yeah, but it's close though. This is really good. Let's just get on to episode 10. Alright, that was the penultimate episodes that we're going to watch, unless we decide to watch the other ones.
No, we're not watching the other one.
We'll put it to a majority vote.
Well, I'm not watching the other
I mean, I
ones.
don't understand why we don't watch the last 2 because they're part of the show.
We'll put it to a vote. But for now, we have to talk about the weird spin-off.
No. Literally, why?
Because it's a good
like,
point to
it's
stop.
like starting a film and then just
Because
ending
I mean,
it halfway
it
through.
really isn't that.
Well, look,
There's 2 episodes left.
It's like stopping on Return of the King instead of watching the Hobbit trilogy.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
it's just because it just continues and they haven't finished it, so episode 11 is a better place to stop than episode 13. But we will put it to a
All
vote.
I want to know. All I want to know.
It's literally what I've said multiple times.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, episode 10. What do you guys think of that show where they get a pet human, aka a child?
I think this is probably the episode that, from watching the actual thing, where from what I do remember, they do just like randomly get married at this point.
Yeah.
It's just like it actually makes sense.
Yeah, they have a very hard job to do, making this literal, like, and now he has a family kind of thing. Like they I think this like very like stretches the great, although they are, powers of this abridged parody. I think it's stretching at this point to be like, all right, he just goes and gets a kid now at this point. But, you know, yeah, I think they make it work. I definitely care about it, you know, a lot more in this abridged parody YouTube series than I did when I watched it the first time. I think I still, you know, even on its own, I think you know, you get an attachment to that kid, especially since it's so funny. The back and forth, that they're using it as a pawn, right? And then right at the end where it's like, I'm gonna die, but it's okay. I know I was just a pawn for your cruel games. And it flips on it's on its head. It becomes sad, and
There's some actual emotion in that
I know
final moment.
it's quite sad. So, do you guys think it was sad? Think it was good? Think it was good?
It was sad.
It was sad. It's sad and also good. Man.
Didn't bring a tear to my eye like Roma did that.
I don't know if it's quite as good as Roma, but I think it might be up there.
What do you think? Do you think this is better than Roma?
No. Stop asking me if this is better than like some of the next you could be like, I think this is good as Goodfellas.
Do you know this is better than The Empire Strikes Back?
Like, the only
That is the thing you always do. You watch something about doesn't really compare to The Godfather though. It's kind of not the best thing ever made. You can't really enjoy it.
That is so true.
That's what happens to them when they eat the S-class meal. They're like, oh, everything else is just shit now.
But it is true. I mean,
Yeah, that's the theme.
but is it really better than Metal Blood? Like, what's the point of watching this when?
You can watch that. I mean, don't you think the experience of being a video game character and getting married to someone you don't know the name of, interesting, that There Will Be Blood doesn't cover? Could though.
Well, it can't cover everything, can it?
Yeah, that's why you need more than one thing.
It's like Schrodinger's cat.
when there are two things, let's say a bridge parody.
Sorry, I didn't even get most of that because you're laughing through all of it.
Just the idea of those being the two things that exist. The two films.
And one of them isn't even really a film.
Could you imagine if the only thing that existed in the world was a parody of something and you didn't, no one knew what the original was? That would be like There Will Be Blood, but Woody doing it would be the only thing that exists. That's the equivalent.
It'd be so funny. Oh man. Well, no,
It's that YouTube video of Woody doing There Will Be Blood, an animated film. Is it Toy Story 4?
He becomes an oil prospector. The third one.
Are you guys hyped the last episode? To be fair, I actually have no idea. Like,
I mean, it's 35 minutes. I'm not hyped for that.
oh, man, but we can take a break, a toilet break in the middle. But
Take a break. That song from Hamilton.
what? Let down.
That's my new thing, Tony.
I've done it, Harry.
That's my new thing. It's now Hamilton. And there's like 50 songs.
Widens your bases.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure if I want to watch the last episode because it doesn't really compare to Pulp Fiction, does it?
Can I actually say what I thought about the last episode?
Yeah.
I thought it was a bit too loud equals funny. And I didn't find it that sad. Sorry.
I think it was still quite sad.
I liked
it was smartly
the
written.
editing thing they did where you got to see their internal thoughts.
Yeah.
But it gave credence to too much just shouting.
Oh no, I think it was.
It was a
times.
bit going in 6.4, trying to watch a fistful of dollars with a weird aspect ratio.
I think that
It's a little bit like that.
they've got Dan, Ten, and Matt to shut up. I think
Why didn't you watch it with two earphones?
I did. I had it large of two of
They were
them on
too
full
loud.
volume.
And
It
you
was
still fucking
yes.
heard them.
The headphones weren't good enough.
Yeah, right.
I think their emotional trauma or struggles were a bit more.
I think it's because
Eddie
it's
and-
like parody and it's not playing it straight. I find it hard to kind of. It's like when I watch Anchorman. I'm not emotionally invested because it's so ridiculous. It's not playing it.
It is like a real relationship though. Like it's realer than a lot of relationships you get thrown.
It's better than every anime relationship I've ever seen.
It's better than fucking The Graduate. No, I'm sorry, Ethan. We're agreeing on this show. I don't want to turn against my ally.
No, I actually probably agree with you.
Yeah.
So
No, it's very convincing. I
Yeah.
quite like the fact that it's chosen to go in this direction now because I feel like it's given the characters a lot of drive, and it's actually going to give them some. Actually, something to do is it's really hard considering the last 10 episodes have been stuff has happened in it.
yeah.
But I mean, like they've actually got the motivation to go out and do something that's quite personal to them rather than just being all the
Yeah.
bosses. On
Is
all
this
the
going to be
floors.
like The Favourite, where the final shot makes me reconsider the entire thing I've just seen?
Harry,
Is
are
it really
you
that,
watching
is it really
closely?
that game changing, the final shot?
It's so weird.
Is it better than?
Oh, I don't know. Because I was a bit. Nah, I think that's more satisfying. But it's probably more smart. It's more smart.
Yeah, sure.
So,
No, you absolutely. I mean, their relationship is ridiculously more convincing than Elena's and Benjamin's from The Graduate. No, definitely.
When they get in the real world, does it turn out it's actually Rachel Weisz and Emma Stone this whole time?
Oh, for God's sake, they're not gonna get that joke. Only I would.
Ethan's here.
You make a lot of jokes that only I would get.
Yeah,
It's about time I started returning the
Yeah,
favour.
yeah.
So let's go into episode 11
The
then.
last one we're doing.
Hey, you know what? Actually, before
Majority
actually,
vote.
yeah, you can quit
Sorry.
that. No, it's not really. It's not really important.
Alright,
but
we'll see you for the final part.
It's over.
Okay, so that is the end. I think we're going to stop there of Sword Art Online Abridged. Even though it does continue, we'll leave it at this moment. What did you guys think of the finale and the show as the whole?
Sword Art Online has got to be a garbage show. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this episode
Yes.
was
Yes!
It was half an hour. Maybe because they had to make sense of how Sword Art Online
Yes.
ends, and like tie up the loose ends that they themselves introduced.
I'm glad that you
So-
understand that. From not having seen Sword Art Online, so now you never have to see Sword Art Online.
Yeah. So this episode was a bit of a mess, but I get why it was because they had a lot to do and it succeeded. Although,
Yeah. It's like Infinity War.
unless we're talking about H-Bomb, my guy, YouTube videos shouldn't be over half an hour.
I don't
Well,
know.
we did one that was 6 hours.
Yeah, and no one's gonna listen to it.
Dan's listened to it.
Dan's not listening to Recon. What's anyone getting out for Recon, dude?
Yes.
The first hour is this VA11 again.
I never get the chance to talk about it, Harry.
I think it's the thing we talked about the most.
That's so true. The first hour is just about how.
The first 6 hour podcast. an hour of it is spent on one thing.
It's the most important thing.
No one even changed their score on it.
Yeah, but I got to talk about what I liked
Yeah.
and disliked.
Yeah, but
about
you
it.
didn't talk about it that much. Let's be
Yeah,
honest.
that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So
Anyway.
Sword Art Online Abridged. What are your final thoughts in review?
It's interesting to watch something on this channel that has like a storyline that it follows from the beginning to an end, and doesn't just stop or have like a random twister episode as its finale. It just, it has like an arc, it has characters that grow and develop over time, which is something that I don't see very often. That's not true, I do see it, I just don't see it in the stuff that we've done on this podcast. So it's interesting to have a very positive change. Yeah, and when Asma died, it was quite sad. Well, you know what I mean. Died, didn't. Who fucking knows really? She died, but just didn't really die. She's still in the game.
You done the game, you done real life.
That's the plot of the show.
When have you guys seen Tron?
Oh, man, I love that comes back.
I love, because there's like no, from what I remember of the original thing, there is like no real overshadowing, particularly that Heathcliff is
There's
anything other
so
than
much
just a
shit
gun.
that this show does that's
But in
not
this
in the
one,
original.
just the fact that it's the jokes themselves and his style of joking that suggests to you, and is how the character figures out that guy is that guy.
It's because when he says, what's the one he says? No fighting in the war room, and everyone was like, it was a funny joke, and I was like, oh, it's funny, but I saw people laughing. I was like, you fucking wait.
It's an actual plot point.
So, do you guys remember in the second episode there was that really serious moment where he was like, "If you can open the menu."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just funny, isn't it? It's just got really funny moments throughout. It's quite. I think it. Actually, no, it's probably a racist thing to say. Forget it. Yeah, no comedy's really good.
I have no idea where that was gonna go,
No.
but I don't want to know.
I kind of want to know.
I think it's better.
I was just going to say
imaginations.
something about interracial friendship. You just.
He's the most right wing here.
I think in terms of, don't call me racist by saying this, but I find the Western style of humour funnier than what anime finds.
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Because
I think Western internet humour is probably appeals to
Which
more
is-
to us more.
Why, when we're going to do the next thing we're going to do, which kind of isn't an anime, because Jaden Smith made it. That's why I like that more.
Yeah,
Well, I was just about to say before I said, "Oh, that's probably quite a racist thing to say." I was basically going to say a much more rude thing of what Harry said, where the Western humour is kind of what I like, whereas I don't think I find it funny
So
if it
I'd
was
say
Japanese humour.
Makes
the
more
like
sense.
strongest comedy I know from anime is Ghost Stories, because the English translation, just a bunch of like a Western audience. I say Western audience, but like it's basically completely rewrote the script for a Western audience with
Yeah.
Western moments of humour.
I think it is very different, and I'm not sure if we're going to pick like an anime comedy thing. There are a couple, but their style is like different when it's like a show being built to be a comedy. And I know John is going to disagree with this, but things like Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto, where Animediate is like an inherently like ridiculous and over the top genre. You can't really poke fun at yourself when you're that like into it. You kind of have to just play things completely straight, which gives a weird sense to it. But I like it in some points, but I think obviously we're more familiar with this style of humour, so it appeals to us more.
When's the Israel-Palestine anime coming out? That's what I want to know. That's what I keep saying. I want to see it. I want to see them cover the situation in Yemen. On anime
When did
version.
you first say that?
I've been saying it
The
throughout.
complex geopolitical quagmire.
Maybe it's
that
because
is
we haven't
the Middle
had.
East.
Maybe it's because we haven't had an episode of this for a long time that I just forgot that you
Yeah.
said that.
Because it's not subtle anime. But this is good. I like this.
Yeah.
I think, for me anyway, it had its limitations being a parody of a thing that I hadn't seen, so I didn't know what to judge. I didn't know whether it's just I think my kind of approach was like, I'll judge the writing of this because that's all original. But I didn't know
A lot
what...
of the animation stuff, I mean, they have all like the shots and stuff and the thing, but a lot of the stuff that gives life to it, like the eye movements and some of the emotion bits, I'm pretty sure they've added in.
And there are a lot
You
of
could.
subtle
I don't want to be
effects.
mean, but you could tell with the eyes.
Yeah.
I
You
think
but there, as it gets
has a
later,
charm to it.
Some of them are better.
Yeah, there are some.
I love the
like,
shrinking. That's just like seething rage, you know.
So I don't really know where one starts and one ends, but I can tell that one is trash and one has salvaged the trash into something that's not trash. It's not as good as The Godfather, but it is quite good. Yeah.
Instead of doing things out of 10, can we do them out of Godfather?
Yeah, but you're gonna hate The Godfather, Tony, and then you're gonna think this is 4 Godfathers.
I already do that with like, it's like 4 times as good as 2001. Sorry, Ethan, you're on my side.
It's 8004.
It's a 26.
Ethan's just like, he did things with numbers.
Yeah.
Math.
I was just thinking, I was like, 2004, where did that come from? Oh, that's 4 times 2001.
Oh, man. This is, yeah. I'm sad to see it go.
You won me over by the end. It's not just a YouTube video.
I know.
Harry's had an arc.
It's like we are an abridged show of our own lives.
But it still is a parody. So.
Yeah. I think though that this
I think the equivalent in my mind is like, it's not quite like this, but it's like Family Guy, Star Wars, or Spaceballs or something. But I mean that wasn't what this is. This is something which is, I think I'm fair to say, unique to anime. This whole idea of an abridged series.
I think it is really oddly common for like loads of anime things. I don't know if there's just like an audience for it, which is why loads get made.
I think it's just easier because of the way
Content ID.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was going to say the way that anime is done. That is,
it's probably easier to.
A lot of
edit
it is
things.
built to be translated and overdone
Yeah.
with different things. So it's there to. It's a better thing to try and tweak than definitely any live action.
Yeah,
stuff.
live
And
action
even
would
like
look quite
Western,
bad.
even Western cartoons still have a lot of flavour around the original.
Could you imagine if they battle angel this show?
Lisa
To have it that aesthetic, to give it that
I'm
aesthetic.
so
It's
glad.
just Kirito with big eyes.
I'm so glad they delayed that film because it was originally going to come out in 2018, Lita Battle Angel, but because it's going to come out in 2019, me and Ethan get to talk about it
Oh, that's fantastic.
on that podcast. That
You
isn't going to
know,
happen.
regardless of whether it's good or not, it's still being my 19th to 20th. It's going to be my Gringo and the Non of this year.
Can you see more than 20 films this year, Ethan?
Well, from my top 20, can you please watch all of them this time and not skip out on a Non? Just
I
so it's
skipped
bad?
a Non. That's one thing. You skipped a lot of what was on mine.
No, I watched all of what was in your top 20.
No, you didn't.
By the end of it, I did. I saw Spider-Verse today.
After the
You
podcast.
saw no. All right, yeah, let's after the podcast. But I'll give you my top 20, and you'll see how many you.
I meant like after the podcast you recorded.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant after the podcast settle this dispute.
I wish I had the authority to say that, but I'm too nice. Oh man. So Ethan, what did you think of this overall?
Well, I don't really see the point. I could have just watched Apocalypse Now instead. Oh, hang on. I'm just having
All right, so Phil while Ethan's looking.
Alright. So well,
I've seen all of these.
I'll say more at the end,
Okay, it's
but
3 I
I'll
haven't
say
watched.
that
I've
this
seen all the. I've seen all the
is
rest of them. Pretty
really
You haven't seen
good.
3?
I think as we've been going
you
on,
could have watched one.
the finale, it takes the sort of kind of rush Sword Art Online
I watched the
original
my
ending
2019.
and does as the abridged show does and makes it really good. I think by the end of it, you realise that oh man, these characters they've been kind of snarky, kind of funny, but they've built up such an attachment to them, almost under your noses, without you even taking a bit to realise it, and it pulls something great with that. I think at the end, I think it's quite good.
It's very good writing, especially when you sort of reach the final episode with Asuna dying, and then now it's your turn to cry.
Yeah.
This sort of
God.
in the previous ones where it's been Kirito who's nearly dead.
All this like basic storytelling things that are done well, that aren't in the original. I'm like, oh, I care about the people in it. I want to see them do the thing. It's incredible.
And it's even more impressive when you consider that they've had to take it from that show basically to then create this story over the top of it. That is good, and it has these moments that some of it do feel like they've gone, well, we have to fit what we're given, but that it does it so well to never feel too out of it.
It does get given increasingly more nonsense things.
Okay, so now the characters marry and become a family. Okay.
This is like the fucking 11 trials of Hercules. There's these 11 episodes trying to get this out.
It's 12 labours, by the way, of Hercules.
Wasn't it like 13 though? He had like a secret extra one.
If only we had a chance to speak about mythology.
Oh, you bastard! I was about to say I've played Age of Mythology. I know this sort.
I've been to hell.
I'm back.
Landed in Egypt.
Oh, we'll get into that. We'll get into that.
Egypt. Yeah. What do you think, Tony, will think about the pianist? Because it's not.
This is not the
Ethan,
time.
after the podcast.
I mean, it's not particularly.
Ethan, should we do the pianist in our 2019 films thing? Because you've seen it in 2019. That means it's a 2019 film.
Well, Rome was a 2019 film. It was released in Singapore in 2019, or it will be. So it's a 2019.
Come on,
film.
Ethan. We're racist. We don't care about the other country. UK only.
Shall we
I
start?
think it's the Fate Stay Night thing where they give Hercules an extra 13th labour.
No, there's
and they've
definitely
made
12.
it up. Yeah, I'm saying like, I'm remembering the fake version.
I remember
of
being
history
told
from
about
anime.
Fate Stay Night.
Yeah, I never get the chance to do it. Oh man.
Tony, just come up with your own podcast. Defect.
All right, so Ethan, I want to hear what you think of this as
I've
a
already
TV
told
show.
you, I think it's just quite a good TV show. Yeah.
Quite good. Got
No,
any
I completely
thoughts?
agree with Johnny. I think the writing is really clever and smart and witty, and it's really, I guess, quick on the feet kind of things. It's just very in the moment, quite delivered at a rapid rate as well a lot of the time, which is quite funny. Yeah, no, I don't have more to say. I've already said it. I mean, it just follows like a good storytelling basis, and it definitely it's the fact that each episode feels like it's contained to, especially in the second half. I think the second half of this entire show is a lot stronger than the first half because it feels like each episode you've got a new setting, there's a new internal storyline they kind of follow from the beginning to the end, and it's only contained to that, and then obviously there's like an overall story that goes through all 11 episodes, but there are things that happen in between that kind of you get a feel for the world. You can just see what characters get up to, what all of the levels and floors are like, and the kind of bosses that you have to fight. It's a good show. But the thing is, I don't know if I could rate it out of 10 because at the same time I don't feel like it's their show. I know that the dialogue and the overdubs, it's all there and stuff, but the fact that
this is a more reasonable thing, but I definitely agree there is some level of ownership they don't have.
Yeah, it's because
like,
the basis isn't
even
there,
though they're
right,
better,
so-
even though clearly they deserve to be number 3 on my anime list way more than the original does.
Well, I've not seen the original. I mean, it could be brilliant.
Can we just review
really that bad?
Yeah.
the original show?
Review the original show.
We review the original show through this vessel.
Trying to decipher it. Trying to take away the good thing. Just scrape all that off.
But if you had to press me for a rating, I'd say it was in between a 7 and an 8 around there.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that rating.
It's just good comedy, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you had to
I laughed
pick
quite a few times each
Yeah,
episode.
if you had to pick one, I'm going to be mean. I'm going to put numbers on a spreadsheet.
You two give your ratings first. In fact, you three give your ratings
Jono,
first.
do you want to set the bar because you were the first? You were along with me, had seen it before we were going in. You were my ally in the trenches, trying to wrangle these guys into watching this show.
Yeah.
Breaking the format to watch something good.
Yeah, I've been in your corner when you've had to like argue how it is a show.
It is a video game.
I'd give it a high 8. It is just so funny, and I find it so easy just to go back to and watch.
It's so condensed. Like it's so good. It's so like I don't know. Like,
35 minutes really is condensed, isn't it?
well, that's because that's 2 episodes, right, worth of stuff. So it's would have been 48 minutes, 35 condensed. That's maths, Ethan.
Okay. Right.
I
I won't accept defeat.
I wouldn't accept defeat. That's
to
what
me,
I mean.
it didn't feel like a 35-minute episode.
Yeah.
No, that's actually so true. It didn't
Yeah.
feel 35 minutes to me either, yeah.
Yeah, and if it had been In Another World with my smartphone played at 1.5 minutes
fucking
time
hell.
speed, it would have been longer than this.
The most boring thing I've ever seen.
You know that's undoubtedly one of the worst things I've ever seen. I honestly think In Another World with my smartphone, even if it doesn't show up on the spreadsheet, is the worst anime we've done. I think it's worse than Eromanga Sensei. Eromanga Sensei was entertaining, right? It was funny because of how bad it was. In Another World with my smartphone was awful, and it was also just not entertaining in the slightest either. It was the worst, right?
Oh, Nathan, you have given it the lowest score.
Okay, that's good then.
Allow.
Was it a 1 or a 2?
2.
Oh, what would I give a 1? I don't even know if anything is that bad.
Well, you're saving it for the worst day.
Eromanga Sensei is a 1.
I'm gonna say for me, and I've said this so many times, but something we're doing next is a 1.
I'd say Spider-Verse is a borderline 1. With that music, that fucking little wave.
It was the interracial friendship. I mean, can't be accepting that kind of behaviour.
I got your opinions as we walked out at cinema. You're not allowed to change them. Yeah, Jono, I will agree with you. This is definitely a very solid 8.
Animediate 5.
Yeah, well,
Sorry, that's.
this is the hidden misdirect episode. This is all Sword Art Online, all 5, and then no, we're
Is Sword Art Online even a 5?
It's lower than that.
The amount of loopholes.
If I had to rate like the entire first season, it'd be lower than a 5. And it's
Was the second season do it better for you then?
no.
No. I remember.
Ethan,
like,
remember, downhill.
when I saw it on the spreadsheet as your 5, I remember like giving you some shit about it, going,
Yeah.
it's not a 5.
Yeah,
It's so much worse.
Yeah,
This is a detour episode.
yeah.
Should we rename it Animediate?
But the thing is, like, it's
70s.
It's because when I had seen like very few things, like Sword Art Online was like, oh, I'll give it a 5. You know, that's a pretty mean score, right? And since then, I've become like, actually no, it's, you know. But
So is In Another World with my smartphone worse or better than There Will Be Blood?
I mean, by my own logic, I have to say it's worse, right? Because I gave There Will Be Blood a 5. That's how numbers work.
I understand that. I'm just saying you said you'd lower this score, and I wanted to give you a frame of reference for whether. I mean, lower your score for,
so
the original
you
version
said
of this show.
Another World with my smartphone. Do you mean?
I Sword Art Online. Not the
Sword
Abridged,
Art Online.
the original version.
Ooh, that is tough. And I'm gonna have to say There Will Be Blood is a lot better, and that's just obvious. That does feel. But yeah, I think, you know, I'm glad that this is still being made. Like as Ethan said, you know, there's you know troubles with the
troubles.
With the fact that they don't own Kirito. You know, as much as I wish that, you know, whenever I see someone at Comic-Con cosplaying Kirito with, you know, the piece of shit sword and the dark repulsor or the elucidator, whatever it's called, one of those two.
You know.
I know. Actually, it's really weird. The dark repulsor is the white one. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know that. I'm a fake fan.
I guess it's repulsing the dark, so it's right.
This is fucking galaxy brain shit. Oh, Sword Art Online is too smart for me. Reki Kawahara! He's too good! Yeah, I wish, I wish, you know, that every thing that referenced the original Sword Art was just this abridged version. That it just existed instead. But you know, I do live in fear that it will be hit with a cease and desist, and that'll be a very sad day for me. But as it's here, I am very, very happy that it exists, and you know, it's a great thing to recommend people onto, because you know, I think it's, you know, a good bridging point between, you know, more as you said, like Western sense of humor, and just showing you the cool visuals and stuff from Sword Art Online, which it does have occasionally.
Yeah, if I was to like introduce people to anime, it would be Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
This or Ghost Stories.
Yeah.
Maybe Steins Gate.
That's the one I've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the one I got you to watch, so I realised, oh yeah, that's also on the list.
That's the one I've seen 2 episodes.
As much as I don't want this to end, do we have any final closing thoughts?
Yeah, you
Yeah, me and Ethan need to give it a score.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Ethan already gave one. I was like, Harry.
I mean, he hasn't yet.
I thought.
He's in between
Oh, yeah,
7
sorry,
and
you're
8,
in
and he's
between.
going to decide
Confused.
once we've all decided.
I want to hear what you give it.
I mean, I didn't want to rate it. 'Cause
Yeah, that's why I left
I
it.
kind of
But
for reasons similar to like it's not like it took me a while to like take it as its own thing because I was like, what's the difference between this and I don't know, like
Donkey Knack 2.
no,
right.
but like just any kind of like parody. So how it should have ended. Like it's like taking a how it should have ended video. But no, it is enough of its own thing.
Yeah.
I think the comedy is good. I say it's a bit more hit and miss for me. Like I like it more than anime comedies. I don't normally laugh with anime. Whereas I laughed with this a few times. I wasn't as emotionally invested as everyone else. It bored me a little bit. But I see the merits of it. I see what they were trying to. They did a good job for a parody of something I haven't seen and don't like. It's
I mean, none of us like Sword Art Online.
Yeah.
Though, to be fair.
but like
Why we watched the parody?
yeah, but you get what I mean. For a parody of
Yeah,
something
yeah,
I would never
yeah.
watch, and so I'm still kind of watching that thing, and it did a good job. But I'm probably gonna give it a 6.
Right, that's perfectly reasonable. So.
And I hope Ethan doesn't give it an 8 because then I don't want this to get in the 30 club.
yeah,
Ethan,
He does not deserve to be in the 30 club.
come on, just open your menu.
I just
There's so many great one-liners in this. It's so funny.
I remember that line that sounded like it was just out of one of your scripts.
8 out of 10.
Yes, yes.